including the 60-yard bomb to Clarence Verdun, the league's third leading receiver. Kelly seemed headed towards another record-breaking day, but on the last play of the first half, the season changed dramatically for Jim Kelly and the Houston Gamblers. Kelly suffered a partially torn ligament in his right knee when right tackle Tommy Robinson was knocked into him by an Arizona player. Unable to leave the field without assistance, the Gamblers franchise was removed on a stretcher. The concern for Kelly's condition was universal among Gambler players, management, and fans. A season which began on a bright note with 5 consecutive victories now seemed destined to end in darkness. But reports of Houston's imminent demise in the football field may be premature. The Gamblers carried on against Arizona, led by backup quarterback Todd Dillon. Dillon led Houston on 2 second-half scoring drives to help clinch a 41-20 victory. And tonight, the second-year pro makes his first pro start against the Birmingham Stallions. The Stallions, meanwhile, possess the USFL's top pass defense, led by record-breaking safety Chuck Clanton. Last week, Clanton intercepted his 14th pass of 1985 as the Stallions defeated Orlando. Clanton and his defensive mates were complimented by an awesome offensive display, highlighted by wide receiver Joey Jones' reception of this Cliff Stout touchdown pass. Tonight, the Stallions continue their march toward the playoffs, while the Gamblers attempt to keep pace with Oakland and Denver in the West. And welcome to the Astrodome in Houston, Texas. The Houston Gamblers playing host to the Birmingham Stallions, who come into this game with a 3-game winning streak and the 10-4 record tops in the East. Riley Dutch, the head coach of the Birmingham Stallions, and a very successful coach he's been in that Alabama city. And of course, the head coach, great professional football player and a heck of a coach in the World Football League, the NFL, and now the United States Football League. That was Jack Pardee. As Frank Corral will get ready to kick it off for the Houston Gamblers. He's been an important acquisition for him, Mike.
He has. Dale Walters was kicking off because Tony Fritsch can't and was doing a poor job, Roger, and it was hurting him on field position. Now that they've gotten Corral, they've gotten good.
Back deep, he'll return kickoffs. He'll play running back tonight. Paul Ott Caruth and Thad McFadden also back to return the kicks as we're just about set to go. Corral will also, as you mentioned, do the punting. They had a problem with kickoffs earlier this year, getting those kickoffs deep. And special teams has been a very good part of this Houston Gambler team all year.
Kevin McLean out of CSU, played a little bit in the National Football League, runs the special teams. And I'll tell you what, if they try a 50-yard plus field goal, you might see Corral go in and do it instead of Tony.
Well, Fritsch has been a very successful field goal kicker. He's only missed 2 this year, but he's not tried one over 50 yards. So if that situation does occur, we might see Corral. And there is Jim Kelly, the right knee in the splint. Jim will be joining us at halftime tonight. There's a lot of question, Mike, is whether he should come back this year or not, just on what's going to happen to the USFL, what his marketability will be if that knee is damaged severely.
And he's going to have 14 months off. Why not take care of the knee so he can have a 15-year career instead of getting it hurt and have a 5-year career?
Guess a lot depends on how Todd Dillon does.
That would make a difference.
And we'll find out tonight. We're set to go. Caruth right at the goal line. Oh, and he is nailed. At the 15-yard line, there's a fumble, and Houston apparently has come up with the football. Ricky Young was the man down and really put the hit on Paul Ott Caruth, and it is Houston football. 55 for the Gamblers. Liddell Wills comes up with it. Well, we talked briefly about their special teams, ranked #1 in the United States Football League.
And another thing, too, Roger, to think about. Paul Ott Caruth is thinking about having to fill Joe Cribbs' shoes. Now he's got to return the opening kickoff, and he forgot one thing. That little football that's stuck under your arm. It slipped out, and boy, it gives Houston a big edge.
The Gamblers with Todd Dillon at quarterback. The running back will be Todd Fowler. Clarence Verdun, Scott McGee, Richard Johnson, Gerald McNeil, the receivers. Taylor Boucher, Kidd, Rosado, and Robinson, the people up front. Todd Dillon. A lot of pressure, and he is nailed. Bill Rowe, number 52, one of those very active linebackers for the Birmingham Stallions. And Rowe, Spencer, they get in a lot of sacks.
They absolutely do from the defense.
So Todd Dillon, we heard they were going to put a lot of pressure on him. That's exactly what they did.
Raleigh Dodge says the way to get after a quarterback who's getting his first start is to stand on his toes early, and they certainly did.
2nd down and 17 now. Once again, bringing a lot of people. Sam Harrell, touchdown. A 23-yard touchdown pass from Todd Dillon to Sam Harrell. Didn't take him long, Mike.
John Jenkins saw that they were going to put the heat on Dillon. Why not go to the screen pass? That's the way to beat the pass rush. And watch Harrell. He's got so many people out in front of him. He's just picking and choosing the block so that he gets in the end zone. Nobody even touches him. Hey, that's how to beat a pass rush. The draw play or the screen.
Tony Fritsch to attempt the point after. And Tony, who told us yesterday just another day at the office on Monday night, quickly gets the helmet off because he knows he's going to be on TV as he runs off the field. And there's the reaction of Todd Dillon. Gamblers out to a 7-0 lead. Third touchdown pass of the season, and Carruth back to return the kickoff along with McFadden. Paulette Carruth will take it at the 4-yard line. At the 21-yard line, Reggie Vonner, 41, comes down, and you gotta like the special teams play because those tacklers are there in a hurry, and once again not much room for Carruth as Cliff Stout will bring Birmingham out on the field as they get it set offensively for the first time this evening. Wide receivers will be Joey Jones and Ken Toller. Running backs will be Joel Coles and Paulette Carruth. McKinley, Idelette, Battaglia, Saindon, Phoenix, and Mason, the tight end, on 1st and 10 from the 21-yard line. That's Joey Jones. He doesn't get much, maybe loses a yard. 59 on the far side, making the tackle, Andy Hawkins, one of the brothers Hawkins, if you will, and defensively for the Houston Gamblers. Shapes up like this. Ross Browner, 79. We'll tell you more about him a little later. Van Hughes, 90. Hosea Taylor, 93. Pete Caton, 77 up front. Mike Hawkins, Kiki Diala, Andy Hawkins, Mike Mitchell, Will Lewis, Luther Bradley, and Durwood Rockmore. The secondary on a 2nd down and 11, a loss of a yard on that play. Coles, 35. First down across the 35 to the 36-yard line. And good blocking, Mike, on the left side of the offensive line for Birmingham.
Guess who?
Yeah, guess.
Number 78, Buddy Idelette. And they'll go him all evening. He'll either pull, run the quick trap block, or he can fire out right at you and open a hole, and he did it for Coles on that play. We
talked about pressure on Carruth, but Coles, he's going to see some duty this evening, and we'll probably see him carry the ball, maybe even more than Carruth.
I agree with you.
1st and 10. Jones is split to the near side. Toller to the far side. This is Paulette Carruth. Carruth across the 45, across midfield, down to the 46-yard line, and once again the blocking by the offensive line. There's nothing fancy about that play, Mike.
Nope. Just pull that off guard, Buddy Idelette. Run the off tackle play, and Paulette Carruth, one of the best cutback runners ever to run at Alabama. And you know Carruth's going to make sure he holds on to the ball. He owes them one from the fumble. Now watch Idelette, 78.
Mike, what he does better than most offensive linemen, once he gets there, he stays with that block.
Yep, and he loves safeties like Luther Bradley and little cornerbacks that weigh 160 pounds. He runs them down.
Here come the Stallions, 1st and 10 at the 46 of Houston. Right up the gut. Not much there. Coles was the ball carrier. Getting maybe a yard. Defensively, Houston, maybe not the greatest defense, 13th in the league, They bend, but they don't break a lot, Mike.
Plus, you've got that great run and shoot offense to make up for the mistakes if you make them on defense, and that's the way they've been playing it all year. So what if you score 28 points? We'll score 42.
2nd and 10. No gain on that play. Paulot Carruth is a deep back. This is Toller in motion. Stout had Jones deep. Now he's going to run it out of bounds at the 42-yard line. Cliff Stout had Joey Jones downfield. Andy Hawkins was the closest man to him. Cliff's a good athlete. He can run with the football, averaging almost 6 yards a carry. Doesn't want to do that a lot, but is capable.
But with Joe Cribbs out, the way to put pressure on the linebackers and the secondary people who are rolling up to stop the run is to show them a threat to run the football, and then you can open up your receivers. Even though it was an impressive win for Birmingham last week, and they won 3 in a row, they fumbled 3 times last week, and that concerned Raleigh Dutch. The one fumble tonight leading to the Houston touchdown. 3rd and 5. Coles is the lone setback. McFadden is into the game to the near side. Stout will run for it. He's got the first down. He's at the 31-yard line. Diala makes the tackle. The leading tackler for the Houston Gamblers. One of the great things about a running quarterback is that if you pick up the blitz and your receivers are covered, you can make something out of the play. If you're the type of pocket passer that doesn't like to run the football, defenses sit there and drool. They'll slam you every time. The Birmingham Stallions 3-3 on the road this year and 3-2 against Western Conference opponents. 1st and 10 from the 30-yard line. Just over 10 minutes to go, first quarter. Stout, Paulot Carruth makes the catch, gets away from one tackler, and carries 2 tacklers out of bounds at the 26-yard line. Hawkins, 57, had a shot at him. Rockmore finally came up with Bradley to make the tackle. Out of the state of Mississippi, leading rusher in the state of Mississippi, his senior year of high school, over 1,500 yards. Alabama, not a spectacular career, but led them in rushing his senior season. You know what he does so well? Everything. He's a great pass receiver. He's a good lead blocker. He hasn't got the great speed, but he's got the instincts of the cutback runner. All the things that you want out of a back. He does nothing great, but nothing poorly either. And that kind of consistency can keep you a starting job every once in a while. Carruth, right up the gut. He'll get a couple, and they'll be 1.5 yards shy of the first down with the clock running. Call it 3rd and 3. We saw a couple of big runs by Carruth at the end of the game last week. Meaningful only in the fact that it gave him a lot of confidence. Here's the first test for Cliff Stout without his great running back, Joe Cribbs. If Cribbs is here, now you can run him at a linebacker. They don't know if he's lead blocking, if you're going to hand off to him, or you're going to throw to him. Stout hasn't got that option now without Cribbs in the backfield. 3rd down and 3. Play action. Mason, the tight end, makes the catch inside the 15. Down to the 13-yard line. They pitch it to Jones. Touchdown, Birmingham. Nobody touched Mason. A defensive mental mistake by the Houston Gamblers, and a very alert Daryl Mason saw Joey Jones, pitched him the ball, took it in for a touchdown. Roger, we saw it last week. It was Stout to Smith last week on the lateral for a touchdown. This time, you're absolutely right. You have got to, folks, remember this, the ground can't tackle you. You're not down until somebody touches you, and they just look at him laying there. And now watch Mason get up, and then a real heads-up play to see Joey Jones standing right next to him, pitches it back, and you and I could have run that one in. Point after is good by Miller. Oh, we've had some action in the first 6 minutes from the Astrodome in Houston, Texas. All tied up at 7. Houston, you don't want to get to the game late because they put a lot of points on the board early. Joey Jones, that's a rushing touchdown. Yes. His first of the year. We saw Jim Smith do it off the lateral from Stout last week. So the wide receivers have gotten into the act for the rushing touchdowns. And watch out for that man. Clarence Verdun, 89, to bring the kick back. A very short kick. Taken on the near side by Sean Potts, 86. And let's see what he can do with it. Gets across 24-yard line where Ken Kelly, 56,
comes down in the Birmingham special teams to make the tackle. And there's Todd Dillon, young man originally from the Lodi, California area. Wasn't recruited out of high school, went to junior college, San Joaquin Delta. Wasn't really recruited out of junior college. Cal State Chico, which is an answer to another trivia question, the only school to come to him until Cal State Long Beach. By accident saw him on film, and all he did was go there, and in junior year led the nation in passing.
Didn't Chico offer you a scholarship?
Well, they talked to me once. I was going to have to pay my way, though. 1st and 10 from the 24-yard line. Johnson was the man in motion, and the pass intended for Johnson could have been a lack of communication right there as Johnson was cut into the middle. Ball was thrown to his outside.
Talked to Richard Johnson before the game down on the field, Roger, and he was a little pumped up. I was kidding him about Gil Stiegel from the Denver Gold, who broke his USFL record with 16 receptions in one game. He had 15 and held the record, and I said, hey, they bring a guy off a developmental squad and shatter your record. He says, I'm going to get it back.
McNeil will come to the near side. He is 13. Johnson in the slot to the near side, 22. Now he'll go in motion. Harrell and Fowler will alternate. Harrell's in there right now as the lone running back. As Dillon throws it to Johnson, look out. Down to the 35-yard line. And finally coming down, 21, Dennis Woodbury for the Birmingham Stallions to make the tackle. That's some pure speed in the middle of the football field right there.
Plus, Roger, I told you I talked to Johnson. I also talked to Todd Dillon, and I said, hey, you got to get him the football. He wants to get that record back. Guess who he looks for right off the bat? And then here's what the run and shoot receivers are known for. Not so much catching the football, but what they do with it afterwards. That great speed is the key to the run and shoot.
Oh, and they've got a lot of great receivers. Ricky Sanders in motion to the near side. 1st and 10. Dillon downfield, McGee inside the 10. Down to the 7-yard line, and they strike fast and they strike deep. And they have moved down the field in a real hurry here.
I talked to John Jenkins, the offensive coordinator, and he said, McGee is my possession receiver. If I need some time and I need a perfect catch, McGee's the guy I go to, and I talk to Scott all the time. He's one of us. Slow, good hands, you know.
1st and goal. They mark it at the 6-yard line. All tied up at 7 with just over 7 minutes to go. First quarter. Sanders in motion. They'll give it to Harrell. He's got room. Touchdown. The 5th rushing touchdown on the year for Sam Harrell.
You can get tendencies on Jim Kelly. He's played in the league for almost 2 years. They don't know what Dillon's going to do, and they don't know what the offensive coordinator is going to come up with. That's the 2nd time Harrell scored, and nobody's touched him. Don't go away, folks. We're going to have a wild one tonight.
Tony Fritsch, 48 of 51. He's got 105 points. Soon to be 106. Got it. Houston Gamblers have taken a 14-7 first quarter lead, and here's another look at it.
And Sam Harrell makes the perfect adjustment. It's stacked up inside on the trap. He takes the move outside, and he's got the quickness on the first 2 steps. Nobody touches
Well,
it.
Herb Spencer tried to give him a shot. Harrell with just too much speed to the outside. And with 6:53 left to go in the first quarter, Houston leads Birmingham 14-7. That'll be Douglas, Larry Douglas, at the 25-yard line. And once again, the special teams led by Ricky Young, who's a man with a mission tonight. 4 plays, 76 yards in a hurry, 2 minutes and 10 seconds. Dillon, 3 of 4, 93 yards and a touchdown. Jim who?
Yeah.
Huh?
Kelly got a smile on his face on the sideline and said, maybe I can take 4 weeks off instead of 3.
Cliff Stout without Joe Cribbs, without Jim Smith, and that's a lot of offense. And last week, a season-high total of 491 yards total offense, and they rushed for 244 yards, which was also a season high. This is Paul Otcaruth, almost caught from behind, does a good job to get across the 25. The ball is loose, but they say he was down. But a good job by Caruth to pick up a couple There's 79, Mr. Browner, who came over from Cincinnati, and
the guy with the crutches, he got replaced tonight already. It's early, though.
You know what Jack Pardee told us? He said, you know, he needed a rest anyway. I mean, we hate to see the guy get injured, but he was really banged. He's been sacked a lot this year.
I'll tell you what, those stats are beautiful, though. 4,600 plus yards, 39 touchdowns.
2nd and 7. Gant in the backfield along with Caruth right now. This is Caruth. Tried to go for the halfback pass, and Jones was covered up beautifully. Luther Bradley was right back there on him. And Caruth was taken down by Van Hughes and Hosea Taylor. Hughes with 8 sacks on the year.
Again, I said Paul Caruth, the man of many talents, obviously going to throw the halfback pass here. Can't find anybody open. You know, the problem, Roger, is that Smith is out, their best control receiver, and everybody's on Joey Jones. I mean, you're not going to fool him with a deep pass because Smith's not there to burn you if he looks for a second receiver.
3rd and 10 from the 25-yard line. Just over 5 minutes to go, first quarter. McFadden is in there, 3 wide receivers. Stout. Toller makes the reception, and he's got the first down. And there is a veteran receiver. Toller from Ole Miss, was with the Patriots for a while. Cliff Stout told me last night, thinks a lot of him.
Yes, he does.
Thinks an awful lot of him as a wide receiver.
One of the misconceptions is that Jim Smith is a game breaker. He's not a game breaker. He's a control receiver with outstanding hands. He knows how to get open. That's a perfect description of Ken Toller. It just happens that Smith's the starter and Toller's the backup. And as you said, Stout likes him just as much as he likes Smith.
He feels they don't lose an awful lot, just some experience. 1st and 10 from the 37. Jones in motion to the near side. Coles with the football. Coles across the 40, across the 45 to the 47-yard line. And who did the block that time? Pat Saindon.
Saindon and Idolette. There's a pair of offensive linemen that can play anywhere. A look as if you were running the football. And you talk about Saindon, there he is on the lead block, and oh, the running backs love it when they see a black shirt buried on the ground, and that gave Coles the chance to square his shoulders up and get upfield.
And the wide receiver Toller even tried to block a little bit too.
Hey, every once in a while we get in there and stick our nose in. Come on. You pick on us wide receivers. They pay us to run away from people, not into them.
The Stallions, the 6th rated offensive team in the USFL. Number 1 on defense. Meanwhile, the Gamblers first offensively, 13th defensively. But to a point, that's misleading.
Sure it is. Because the name of the game is outscore the other team.
Right.
If you hold them to 28 and you score 29, you win.
1st and 10. Stout to Toller. Got it right on the sidelines. Mitchell was the man that brought him down at the 37-yard line, and a beautiful route that time by Ken Toller.
Just exactly what we were talking about, Roger. Great route runner and an outstanding catch. Now watch this hit. He gets 1 foot down and the other one never touches. But you know why he was inbounds? If the defensive back's hit takes you out of bounds before your feet would normally come down, it's in.
Mike, this is like watching a tennis match so far tonight. You just keep turning your head back and forth.
My neck's sore already.
3:33 to go, first quarter. Joel Coles, hard runner, inside the 30 to the 28 and close to another first down. They've been able to utilize the run on first down, a pickup of about 9 yards there. The last time on first down, Coles with a 10-yard pickup for a first down. They've really set up the pass beautifully.
When you've got 2nd and 2, you put the defense on the schneid. There's absolutely no way they can guess what you're going to do, run it or throw it.
Make it 8 yards in that last pickup for Coles. 2nd down and 2, and as we suspected, he's getting the ball a little bit more than Caruth so far as Gant checks into the game. Stout, Jones, beautiful play. 35, Mike Mitchell. Jones was open momentarily. Mitchell showed you some great speed and got his hand in to break it up.
You saw in RT's, the opener, that great catch that Jones made. Well, Stout's going to look for him tonight with Smith hurt. Here's the inside post route. Now watch Mike Mitchell, 35. He just gets enough on it to break the momentum of the ball, and Jones can't hold on to it. Maybe even a better look here. Watch, just a fingertip and just enough to let it slip into his belly and out.
Maybe just a bit underthrown that time.
Gotcha.
3rd down and 2. 29-yard line. Double tight ends. Looking for Toller. Got it. Penalty marker is down at the line of scrimmage, and we would suspect holding. But you notice who he's going to on 3rd down when they need the first. It's been Ken Toller.
Hey, the guy that runs the great routes and never drops the football.
Number 71 on the offense.
Pat Phoenix, who's got his hands full with Browner, is Jim Smith on the sidelines. Pulled hamstring. Happened of Tuesday last week. Gave it a try on Saturday. Popped again on him. So the penalty will move it back to the 39-yard line, and it'll be 3rd down and 12 with 2:35 to go first quarter, and Houston leading Birmingham 14-7. This is a team that hasn't made a lot of mistakes this year, whether it's been in penalties or turnovers.
Raleigh Dutch will not hold still for mistakes, Roger.
McFadden is in as a wide receiver. 3 wideouts. Stout to Jones, broken up. Mitchell was the man again. With the 3 wide receivers, they've been rolling Stout out. They haven't been letting him sit in the pocket.
And they're also putting Mitchell and Lewis, their 2 starting corners, over on Toller and Jones. And the reason there's no completion here is because 35 and 24. 24 is Lewis, 35 Mitchell. Outstanding coverage one-on-one.
I think Raleigh Dodge better get the Rust-Oleum out, because Bob Parsons has checked into the game to punt. Didn't get to last week.
When your offense is cranked up, the punter gets to stay home.
He is at the 46-yard line, and the dangerous McNeil back for Houston. Parsons, beautiful punt. They're going to down it at the 4-yard line. Joe Bach, 65, was the man down on the coverage, and that's the best way to do it against the Houston Gamblers. Roger Twibell, Mike Hafner back with you. Todd Dillon has his team on top 14-7. Mike, he's never thrown for more than 200 yards in a game, but he's already got almost 100 tonight. And he's never thrown more than 25 passes in a professional game. But in college, he aired it out a few times at Cal State Long Beach.
I don't think he's ever gotten 4 quarters in one game to get those kind of stats.
Todd Fowler across the 5 up to the 7-yard line. Bill Rowe, 52, one of the very active linebackers for Birmingham. Fowler, you just saw him, had the helmet knocked off. He'll be going to the Dallas Cowboys this next year.
He had the same kind of injury as Jim Kelly.
Yes, he did.
At the beginning of the season, and they suffered without him in there, put all the pressure on him.
He missed about 8 weeks.
Yes, about 8 weeks.
But they were playing so well early on. Won their first 5 games. They didn't really have to rush him back.
Another thing, too, is he's a running back.
Yeah.
And Kelly doesn't need to do the things he does with his legs.
McNeil and Johnson are to the near side. Verdun will come in motion now on 2nd and 7 from the 8. Quick out. Just once again, the timing right there. Verdun, the intended receiver, and so much of the run and shoot offense is timing.
On that play, Verdun is just supposed to find the soft spot. Dillon's guessing instead of reading what the defensive backs are doing, and he led him when Verdun was just standing there waiting for the pass. So you've got to do the plays over and over and over again. It's kind of like deja vu. Well, I've seen this. This is where I throw. And obviously, Dillon hasn't had that many snaps, so he doesn't have that kind of recall.
3rd down and 7. The Houston Gamblers, who snapped a 3-game home losing streak with a win against Arizona last week. Sanders in motion. Dillon in lots of trouble, gets it away right through the hands of Ricky Sanders, and Todd Dillon very fortunate to get rid of the football that time.
The reason Sanders dropped it was he didn't think Dillon was going to get out of the predicament he was in.
So Dillon will have to go sit down, and Frank Corral will come in to do the punting. He's another one of your UCLA guys.
I knew you'd mention it.
Well,
yeah, we're all survivors. He's been around.
There's Thad McFadden. He's a rookie from Wisconsin. We've got two of the 2 top punt returners in the USFL, McFadden and McNeil. There's a low line drive kick almost goes over his head. And guess who came down to make the tackle on the special teams? Clarence Verdun.
To make sure he didn't get a punt return that moves him ahead of him in the stats.
Well, Speed on the outside on the special teams. Caught Speed trying to bring it back up the middle. 37 seconds left to go in the first quarter. First quarter, Stallions with good field position. Paul Caruth, the ball carrier. Inside the 45 to the 44-yard line. Derwood Rockmore comes up to make the tackle as time will run out here in a very exciting first quarter at the Astrodome in Houston, Texas. A lot of action, and the Houston Gamblers have taken a 14-7 lead over the Birmingham Stallions. We'll return to Houston. Roger Twyville, Mike Hafner back with you. The first meeting ever in regular season between the Birmingham Stallions and the Houston Gamblers. And the Gamblers got a 14-7 lead. 2nd and 6 from the 44. Stout downfield right in the hands of Daryl Mason. And he just flat dropped the football. Just flat dropped it.
Do I have to defend my receivers?
No, you don't. But okay. Even though Rockmore was there, I mean, he had nothing to do with it. First quarter statistics, the rushing yards, impressive for Birmingham. Passing yards, impressive for Houston. The turnover the difference right now.
Right? And the 9 yards rushing, a bit deceiving.
Yeah.
They've used the screen pass instead of the rush, and an easy score, and Dillon's been finding people open.
Burrell got 7 of those on a touchdown.
Right.
3rd down and 6. Stout underneath to Toller. Penalty marker is down as Toller is tripped up by Mitchell at the 33-yard line, but about 7 yards further downfield, a penalty marker is down.
3rd and 6, go to your control receiver with a good hand.
It's gone to him every time.
It's automatic.
The 35 on the defense.
Mike Mitchell.
They'll refuse this penalty. Take the pass.
You know, Birmingham had one of their better offensive outings against Orlando, and that might seem deceptive because Orlando's not one of the better teams, but Orlando pops up and just beats the heck out of Tampa this past week.
I couldn't believe that score when I saw it.
Well, I think it's generally conceded around the league that Birmingham and Oakland probably playing as well as anybody right now. Coles down to the 30-yard line, and as Mike suggested, that penalty was declined. Joel Coles out of Penn State was a blocking back in college, and I'll tell you what, it seems to me blocking backs make pretty good pro running backs. USC has turned out a lot of blocking backs that have been good running backs. Penn State's done the same thing.
Marcus Allen, one who used to block for Charlie White. Glenn Kane. And then a guy named Franco Harris, I think, blocked for a few people at Penn State. Lydell Mitchell, yeah.
2nd and 7 from the 30-yard line. Just underway, second quarter. Stout trying to screen, almost picked off by Kiki Diayala. And a penalty marker goes down, and I think they're going to call it on Kiki for kicking the football out of bounds.
Not a very smart throw by the veteran Cliff Stout.
Caruth was wide open in the flat to the far side, and he dumped it in the middle.
We'll listen to the referee
No
first.
flag. Ball was tipped. 3rd down.
So they're going to say no flag.
Stout wanted to throw the screen pass. He's coming back inside, and I think the pressure kept him from looking for his out man. But look at Diala tips it up in the air, then it's tipped again, and those are kind of get McKinley, and those are kind of get picked off. Watch.
Well, shortly thereafter, Kiki went and drop kicked that thing in the stands.
That's because he wanted it the first time around when he tipped it.
3rd and 7. Let's see if they go to Toller. He does, and it's almost picked off. Luther Bradley, yes, sir. Who might want to catch up with a guy named Clanton in the interception department.
Here comes the problem. When you haven't got Smith, you haven't got Cribbs, you're relying on 1 or 2 guys, and you make a silly throw trying to find your favorite receiver. That pass almost picked off by Luther Bradley, who used to hold the interception record.
He's got 10 of them this year.
He had 12.
Danny Miller. with Bobby Lane holding. At the 38, call it a 48-yard field goal. He's got the distance. And it's good. So Danny Miller from 48 yards out pulls Birmingham within 4. 40 to 49. He's now hit 7 out of 9 this year from that area. Sean Potts. And Robin Earl tripped him up at the 23-yard line. So the Houston Gamblers and Todd Dillon with a 4-point lead. They lead at 14-10, 13-27 to go in the first half. We'll try to get that offense moving again.
Dillon's first 2 drives, won the quickie on the turnover. And there you see 3 out of 6, 93 yards. Most of that to Richard Johnson on the one over the middle in the quick 4-play drive for the second touchdown. So really they haven't even started running half their package yet with the run and shoot.
Coming into this game, the Stallions had allowed just 12 touchdown passes on the year. Best secondary in the United States Football League.
Haven't seen the run and shoot but once though.
Sanders in motion. Pass is incomplete. Richard Johnson, the intended receiver. You mentioned they've only seen the run and shoot once. These two teams did play in preseason, and it was the only preseason game for Birmingham. And Jack Pardee said, yeah, we were able to go back to those films and make them useful, even though that was a long time ago.
It was a 20-10 win for Houston. And Todd Fowler got some significant, Todd Dillon got some significant time in that
Todds
game. Yeah, I know.
In the backfield. There's Jack Pardee, the head coach. 2nd and 10 from the 26-yard line. Sanders will be the man in motion again. Dillon looking for Corville. It's going to be picked off. Dennis Woodbury still on his feet, finally brought down at the 38-yard line. Dennis Woodbury with his 3rd pass interception of the year, and Dillon simply did not throw the football far enough that time.
Also, he's in that situation, Roger, where everything is broken down in the run and shoot package. Now, Jim Kelly has seen this maybe 10 or 15 times. He knows what to do it, when to throw it away, etc. He's shuffling his feet, can't get his feet set, and he throws a horrible pass short that shouldn't even have been thrown. You throw that on out of bounds, go to the next play.
He was throwing from the dirt portion of the field here, had some problems with his footing. 14-10, Houston leads Birmingham. Stallions will have a good field position at the 39. Both wide receivers, Jones and Toller, to the near side. 1st and 10 from the 39 for Birmingham. Now, Joey Jones in motion. Joel Coles. Coles running hard inside the 35 to the 34 were the Hawkins brothers. That was Mike, number 57. Andy,
number 59.
Texas A&I.
Suppose they have a little ESP between each other that a normal pair of outside linebackers don't have.
Well, Mike came up to me at the training facility yesterday. He used to play with the Patriots. He goes, hey, Roger, what about the Celtics?
Rubbing it in a little, huh?
14-10. Jones in motion. Paul Ott-Carew turned it up down to the 32-yard line, and they'll be faced with a 3rd down and 2. If you wanted to teach a high school offensive lineman to pull out,
watch number 78. Now I'll tell you what, Carew should have stayed on his right hip. He'd have gained a lot more yardage. The young man will learn, the more he's in there, that number 78 is the stud on that offensive line, and follow him, you'll get some yards.
That's what you call drafting. Just stay on the hip there.
Just like the Indy 500 cars. Get right in that draft, let him suck you along to a rushing championship.
3rd down, they call it 3 now at the 32-yard line. Stout gets out of trouble, plenty of room to run. He slides safely inside the 20 down to the 17-yard line, and Bradley was there to make sure he did not go any farther.
Remember when Daryl Mason was wide open, everybody standing around? Watch, it happens a little bit here on the pass rush. People just fall all over the place and let
Van Hughes went right by him.
Exactly. Right by him. Nobody was even blocking on him. Here's a look at Ken Toller, 85.
Third down situation.
Yep. Get a handful of jersey there, will you, Mike Mitchell?
I guess Mike figured who they were going to go to on third down now.
Oh, yeah.
1st and 10 at the 19. Stout almost intercepted. Pete Caton. Well, hit him right in the hands. What are you going to do when you're defensive lineman?
That's right. They teach you to put the hands up, but they don't teach you to catch it. Not when you're a pass rusher. And Stout's got a quick outside move that he wants to throw and doesn't see Caton. Caton had fallen down, jumped back up, got his hands up, but couldn't hold on to the football.
Caton with 6 sacks. He's not the leader on the team. Van Hughes is with 8 now, but Caton missed some games this year.
Yeah, 5 or 6 with an injury. All USFL last year.
He's considered their best pass rusher. 2nd and 10. Well, Stout will just run it again. Look at him stepping. Down to the 11-yard line and very close to the first down. So Cliff Stout having to run the football a lot more than he'd really like. But then again, he's a 2nd leading rusher on the team. As a matter of fact, with Cribbs out of there, he is the leading rusher on the field tonight.
There's a look. 4 rushes, 39 yards. And Cliff at 6'4" got those long strides. Doesn't look like he's going very fast, but with each stride, he's eating up about 5.5 yards.
Short of the first down, it will be 3rd and 2. And Birmingham's been pretty good in third down situations, 40% on the year. And you saw that graphic. Double tight end alignment. Carruth. Good second effort by Paul Ott Carruth. And he's down to the 6 and more than enough for a first down. Boy, Mike, I tell you, that's something that you can talk to a running back about for years and years. They got their head down, they're driving hard. It's just a feel when there's nothing there to automatically spin to the outside.
Carruth's yardage after he makes the first cut. Now, you know Idolette's there, so he's going to slip out towards Idolette. Look at the great block. Carruth's no dummy. He knows where 78 is, and there's got to be a hole where he was.
You know from your old running back days at UCLA?
Yes.
That's a basic drill. Run it in there, spin.
Spin and cut. Outstanding second effort.
1st and goal from the 6-yard line. Carruth again, slashing. And they're looking for the touchdown call. Nobody signaled it.
Carruth's going, how far do I have to go?
It appeared to me the ball was across the goal line. Now they have signaled it. Finally, a touchdown.
Roll the touchdown. Judge for yourself. Put your striped shirt on. Dangle the whistle around your neck and call this. The ball has to break the plane before his knees hit. Hello, touchdown.
Well, I'm
no
just
question.
Waiting for the guys in the striped shirts to make it official.
Here's another look. Carruth again bounced off.
Right,
does his twist.
Good block.
Yes. Oh, I see why they waited. The ball popped out. So they want to get the far side official to make the call.
Penalty marker down as Miller knocks home the extra point.
Kick was through the uprights. Penalty flags are down.
Point is good. 12 men on the field on the defense.
Take it on the kickoff.
Take the penalty on the kickoff.
You heard Robin Earl. We'll just take it on the kickoff.
Thank you.
So each team with a turnover that's led to another touchdown. Birmingham 17, Houston 14. Orlando coming off a big win over Tampa Bay. Memphis is going to go home now after a couple losses on the road to finish up the rest of the year. It's coming up Friday on ESPN. 17-14 Birmingham. 3-point lead over the Gamblers. Boy, a line drive kick. Vince Corville up to the 34-yard line. And whether it's Clarence Verdun, Gerald McNeil, whoever, they've all got great speed. And Corville with a good return. And that's not the type of kickoff you want to send down there. That got down in a hurry. That doesn't let your coverage people get there. And Ted Walton was the man that came down to make the tackle. And Todd Dillon, who got off to quick starts, kind of stuttered his last couple of offensive series. Tried to get something going with 8:57 to go first half.
Got some field position for the first time since those early scores, too, Roger.
McGee, Sanders to the near side. Verdun, the man in motion. Dillon looking at Corville. Got it. Excuse me, McNeil. At the 46-yard line, Evans makes the stop for Birmingham. There was no question where he was going on that one.
Dillon looked at him all the way, but Evans had to respect McNeil's speed. If you're running right at the guy's chest, you better be backpedaling or run right by you. And Gerald McNeil turns inside. Dillon puts it right on the button. Speed makes it so easy to get open. I wish I'd have had some of that.
Dillon, 4 of 9, 113 yards with a TD and an interception. So he's got 3 touchdown passes, 3 interceptions on the year. And whistle, penalty markers go down.
Like an offensive lineman picked it
False
up.
start, number 65 on the offense.
Dan Rosado. And that will not please his offensive line coach and your former teammate.
Bob Young said, I got my 2 best offensive linemen out. And I said, well, then good. I can talk about you now. Now you have to coach. You can't just roll out the ball and say pass protect. You got to get your other guys to pick up the slack.
We talked about Denver and their run and shoot facing Birmingham earlier this year. The Birmingham defense, number 1 in the USFL, gave up 564 yards total and 280 rushing. McNeil inside the 45 to the 44-yard line. Evans once again. Birmingham defensively against this sort of speed, Mike. What are their secondary people going to do?
You want to get up on them closely and then have 2 safety men deep who are playing zone and can pick up the mistakes you make when you're covering speed. Now, once in a while, in a blitz situation, they'll force him to cover him one-on-one. You saw Evans in that situation with McNeil, backpedaling as fast as he could go to make sure nobody got behind him.
7:22 left to go, first half. Johnson in motion. They're playing real soft. Fowler inside the 40 to the 39. Corners really backed up that time on the outside receivers. And Fowler gets it inside the 40. They're going to mark it at the 39-yard line, and that'll bring up a 3rd down situation for the Houston Gamblers, who've completed better than 41% of their 3rd down situations this year.
Great time to run the draw play or the screen, but I don't know if Fowler's got that one in his mind.
Johnson in motion. Dillon finally gets rid of it. Sanders has got the first down at the 32-yard line. Dumars was the man to make the tackle, and a pretty good job of scrambling that time by Todd Dillon, who kind of fancies himself as a latter-day Fran Tarkington.
Now, here's a look at the secondary. See the 2 safeties deep? They're back there to make up for any mistakes. The outside guys playing bump and run, man-to-man, and because they didn't get pressure on Dillon, they get an escape route outside to get the first down. But there's that classic look of the 2 safeties deep with 4 underneath guys playing man-to-man on the 4 receivers.
1st and 10. Ball at the 32-yard line. 17-14. Birmingham with the lead at 5:48 left to go, first half. Dillon to Harrell, and he steps out at the 29-yard line.
That pass, Roger, is something that the run and shoot coaches, including Mouse Davis in Denver, and now John Jenkins down here, the offensive coordinator, has added. Add that back out of the backfield into the passing offense. It didn't have it a year ago.
You know, the thing about Harrell and Fowler, they're both about the same size, 6'2", 6'3", about 220. I can see down the road in their career maybe moving up to tight end after they lose their running back speed.
Guess what Fowler played at Stephen F. Austin?
Tight end.
Tight end.
2nd and 6. Sanders in motion. Two seconds left to go on the clock. Dillon grabbed from behind. He was in the grasp of number 52 of the Birmingham Stallions, and that's Bill Rowe. His 2nd sack tonight. He is their leading sack man now with 7.5 sacks on the season. And there's a look at John Jenkins, the offensive coordinator. A lot of burden on his shoulders. Not only do they lose Mouse Davis, but also June Jones. He moves from the special teams essentially working by himself. That's a big load for one man to carry.
And I kidded him before the game. I said, John, we'll find out what kind of coach you are. You just can't roll out the ball to number 12, Jim Kelly. Now you got to coach this offense with a young quarterback.
3rd down and 12. Sanders in motion. Dillon looking for McGee. That's going to be interference. Going to be interference, and I want to tell you, very accidental interference at that. Chuck Clanton just lost sight of where Scott McGee was.
He didn't knock him over. He was going for the ball, and he happened to be in the way. But the problem is, while the ball's in the air, he can't touch anybody, and you're going to get caught whether it was an accident or on purpose.
Now, will they say the ball was overthrown? He didn't have a chance to catch it?
Number 24 on the defense. Ineligible downfield, number 70 on the offense.
Oh.
Offset. Replay.
That's a moot point now, whether it was catchable.
Tommy Robinson.
Again, those two safeties playing.
Well, he's the guy that's got to feel bad. You know, last week he was the one that fell, was pushed in, didn't fall. He was pushed in by Arizona defensive man in the knee of Jim Kelly. Third down and 12 again. At the 34-yard line. Verdun in motion. Draw play to Fowler. Very close to the first down at the 23-yard line.
You'll remember the previous 3rd down play. I said it's a good time to run the draw or the screen with a run and shoot, especially in long yardage, because they're expecting you to throw and they're taking outside pass rushes. And you see the big 225-pound former tight end almost get the first down yardage. Roger, you got better eyes than I do. Is it first down? You're going to wait and see for sure.
It was real close. That's what I was going to say. No, it's not. So now a decision on 4th down.
No decision.
No decision.
You bring on Tony, kick it, tie it up, come away with points. Don't mess it up.
So we'll see what happens. Threadgill, who's now the backup quarterback, over on the side. Well, they're sending in Harrell. Looks like they're going to go for it. Now, the Houston Gamblers having some problems the offensive line because of injuries. Chris Reen,
yes,
who Bob Young feels is his best young tackle, and also Kurz is hurt, probably won't play. So that's why 4th and inches, they will go for it with 4:26 left to go in the half.
That's why I would kick the field goal. I was thinking about his 2 best offensive linemen can't play.
Well, and also the run and shoot in a short yardage situation.
Yeah, there's no run package.
3 wide receivers to the far side. Sneak by Dillon, that's the way you get it.
They only got 2 running plays, Roger. In the short yardage situation, you either turn around and hand it off the fullback up the middle, or you carry it yourself. And Dillon, just a little pat on the back and takes it forward. On the quick count, before the defensive lineman gets set, a little bit of a mental error, I think, on Birmingham's part. They should have known they were either going to run up the middle with a fullback or the quarterback sneak.
Junior year at Cal State Long Beach, became the 2nd man in NCAA history in total offense, so he had to run the football a little bit besides throwing it.
But they threw it 50 times plus the game in Long Beach State.
1st and 10 from the 21. A lot of pressure. Penalty marker down. It's going to be holding. Might be holding, might be a face mask. McGee makes the reception. It is holding. It's going to be holding against Houston. Now it appeared as though the defensive man reached out and got the face mask of Todd Dillon. But while he was doing that, he was being held at the same time.
So you get the holding call first and you forget about the face mask afterwards. Take a look. Jackie Klein, come into your screen. Now you can see the jersey stretched. You know he's being held. Now he gets the face mask, but he was being held first, and that takes precedence. Now if they come away with no field goal here, I'm going to look like a hero, right?
I guess you will. Depends on who's watching.
There you go.
1st and 20 from the 31-yard line. And movement up front. Penalty markers all over the field.
False start, number 70 on the offense.
Well, it's been a tough night for Tommy Robinson.
You know, he was at guard at the beginning of the year, and they had things clicking so well. Bob Young talking about what a great offensive line he was developing. Then all of a sudden the injuries hit. Robinson goes from guard to tackle. They let Frank Khalil go. Boucher's back in and out of the starting lineup. Now Kerr's hurt. Those kind of things will disrupt even the signal count at the line of scrimmage.
1st and 25 now at the 36-yard line. Johnson in motion. Dillon looking deep. Beautiful defensive play. McGee, the intended receiver, and David Evans was the man back for the Birmingham Stallions. We've seen a couple of outstanding defensive plays by the Birmingham secondary, and that's why they're ranked #1 in the United States Football League.
Also, Todd Dillon is giving them a chance by the way he's throwing the deep route. He's throwing it a little late, a tad late, and hanging it up a little bit. On those, you got to drill him deep. If he's got a step, you got to get the ball there quickly so the defensive back doesn't have a chance to react. And that was a great reaction. Got there just in time to knock it away.
They tell us that Dillon actually has a little more zip on his passes, so he throws them a little harder. Kelly's got better touch.
Better touch, but it's a timing thing. You got to know when to zip it and when not to.
2nd and 25. Richard Johnson, they clear out the side. Touchdown, Houston. Touchdown reception number 13 on the year by Richard Johnson. And he gets some help from his friends downfield, doesn't he, Mike?
Yes, he does. Now, Johnson, this is the crossing pattern that they run at the goal line to mess up the pass defense. Now, Johnson across the middle. Now, watch, at the top of your screen, you see the guy down on the ground there that was trying to pick himself up? That's number 13, Gerald McNeil, who knocked out the last safety who was supposed to make up for the mistakes, and he walked in the end zone.
Herod Fritsch with the point after. Boy, Mickey Sutton was a guy given chase, and it wasn't even a contest. Johnson turned on the afterburners and was gone. Houston 21, Birmingham 17. We'll be right back to the Astrodome. And that's why they have a couple of other speedsters back there with him, like Corville and Potts. Miller sends it downfield. Corville's going to get a chance, and he is tripped up at the 20-yard line. Coming down for the Stallions, Mickey Sutton, number 25, and so the Houston Gamblers and Todd Dillon will put it in play to start the second half. And if the second half is half as good as the first half, we've got a heck of a ball game for you. Todd Dillon, first half statistics, couple of touchdowns. He now has 4 on the year, 3 interceptions. Has never thrown over 25 passes or thrown for over 200 yards in one game. And I think he's going to get by both of those tonight.
This will be a record setter for him all the way around if he stays healthy.
Houston Gamblers 3-3 at home. That's a record you shake your head at. And they are 1-4 against Eastern Conference opponents. Dillon doesn't get out of there in time at all, and Herb Spencer, and we've talked about the linebackers of the Birmingham Stallions, and Herb Spencer is a young man who has led this team in tackles the past 2 years, the second leading tackler right now from Newberry, which rhymes with his middle name Seabury.
You've got it all down, Roger.
He trails Bill Rowe in sacks. And he also trails Rowe in tackles. Rowe's having a heck of a year.
Yes, he is.
Stallions.
Former Colorado Buffalo.
2nd and 15 from the 16-yard line. Verdun in motion. Intended for Richard Johnson. Pass was poorly thrown that time by Todd Dillon. He's a young man that's constantly had to prove himself through high school. Wanted to be a running back in high school. Dad said, no, you're going to be a quarterback. So then he had to prove his dad he could play quarterback. Went to junior college. Nobody wanted him. Finally got a shot at Cal State Long Beach. Had to beat out an incumbent there. And was a territorial pick of the LA Express. And Mouse Davis, Jack Pardee liked him. Brought him over here. And this is his chance, whether it's with the Houston Gamblers or with any professional football team. The next 4 games very important for Todd Dillon in his professional football career.
It'll tell his future.
3rd and 15. They bring it to Sanders. He tries to cut back across the grain, but he is tripped up. Mike Perko with the leg whip. Now, is that a penalty?
It's only a leg whip when an offensive player does it to a defensive player. This is a defensive player. Hey, you're fair game when you got the football. Any way to get you down, short of grabbing your face mask. But watch, this is a great athletic move by Perko. Look at him put the back leg up, just trips him.
Folks saw that on the big screen here at the Astrodome, and that's why you hear the boos, as Frank Corral is going to be about 5 yards deep in his end zone. And McFadden standing at the 48-yard line on a 4th and 19. Not a very good punt at all. McFadden will let it bounce, and it comes to a stop at the 47-yard line. So the Birmingham Stallions, good field position, as they'll put it in play with 12:55 to go. 3rd quarter. We return to the Astrodome. They trail by a point. Paul Ott-Caruth and Kiki Diayala. University of Texas, leading tackler on the Houston Gamblers.
They tried to play him at outside linebacker. Didn't have quite the speed, but he has a tremendous nose for the ball. And he'll make that spectacular play every time at middle linebacker.
Great athlete. Was a champion tennis player as a youngster. Won the City of Rio de Janeiro title.
Now there is a statistic I'd have never known.
I don't know if anybody cares, but it's a fact. 2nd and 11. Well, Ken Toller, when you don't have all the speed in the world, folks, you try to get every edge you can, but they don't allow that.
Cliff Stout trying to check off. Toller more than likely didn't hear it.
With your hand in the cookie jar.
Yes.
Number 85 on the offense.
That wasn't a false start. He knew what he was doing.
He's checking off. He's trying to get an edge. Maybe had a deep route. He was wide open. They should have thrown it to him. Problem is, Stout didn't have the football.
Well, Mitchell's standing there going, should I cover him or just let him go? 2nd down and 16. 3 wide receivers for Birmingham. And Houston jumps offside, and the penalty flags go down. Free play, and Toller makes the reception at the 44-yard line. They call it an incomplete pass as Luther Bradley and Mike Mitchell are right there. But the penalty is going to be against Houston.
And Cliff Stout, the veteran quarterback, knows he's got a free one. You can make the tough throw then.
79 on the defense.
Pass looked good to me.
Did to me too. Let's see what happens.
Got it right there.
Got it right there. Slips out.
Might have been a fumble, huh? Looked like he had it in.
Fortunately, they'll take the penalty. And
Well, it wouldn't have mattered anyway, right?
Absolutely.
Because the man for the Houston Gamblers was Ross Browner. And we haven't called his name much tonight. Ross is not in the best of shape.
Been sitting for a while. Since the end of December, as a matter of fact.
2nd and 11. Stout has McFadden. They'll call it a complete pass. He's 2 for 2 now. Thad McFadden, rookie, Wisconsin.
Raleigh Dodge saw him at the Hall of Fame Bowl, which is played in Birmingham. He was kind of a lost guy on that Wisconsin team.
With Altoon.
Yeah. Richard Johnson, a fine cornerback. Raleigh said, hey, we need a punt returner and a wide receiver.
Pat Phoenix matched up on Ross Browner. And look at the technique of Pat Phoenix. Hands up on the shoulder pads, strength against strength. Puts his head in there, takes him to the outside.
If you haven't had a training camp, you're going to get beat like that.
That's a TKO right there.
Yeah.
1st and 10 from the 35. Caruth. Kiki Diayala. Well, I'll tell you what, he holds his ground so well, Mike. Doesn't go for any of the fakes.
Doesn't overcommit.
No.
And if you're going to be a middle linebacker, you can't overcommit. They're going to run cross blocks, traps on you.
Who does he remind you of? 6'1", about 230.
Oh, there was a pretty good middle linebacker named Jordan out of Alabama that centered that Dallas Doomsday defense for a while. Looks a little like him, doesn't he? Leroy Jordan. The Bears said, we never practice him. He hurts people. We don't want him hurting ours. We wait to let him hurt theirs.
2nd and 10. 3 wide receivers for the Stallions. They'll give it to Coles, and he slipped down. But guess who was there again? Kiki.
They're going to pick on him, I guess, until they believe that he's a good middle linebacker.
It's a popular name in pro sports, isn't it? Kiki.
And away.
Yeah. Diallo. Cole stumbled a bit, but once again, Diallo was right there holding his ground, covering his territory. That's his space. And the Stallions have been fairly effective stopping the run, even though Birmingham, racked up some numbers in the first half. 135 yards, but they've done a decent job.
Big
3rd and 9. Here they come. Stout can't get out of the way, and it's that man Hawkins. That would be Andy.
One thing you can't do is tell the defense what you have to do, and that's pass. And they're going to blitz. And Stout, if he doesn't get it off quickly, he's read the blitz. He knows it's coming. But the pressure was so quick from Andy Hawkins from the outside, he couldn't do anything with the football. And the smart thing there is not to throw it up and get it picked off. Take the sack, let him punt it, put him in poor field position instead of throwing the interception and give him great field position.
So, Bob Parsons, his 2nd punt. He's a busy man. Didn't punt at all last week. Nice high kick. McNeil let it bounce. Boy, great job by Parsons. It's out. They mark it at the 3-yard line. 21-20, Houston over Birmingham. 8:56 to go, 3rd quarter. Todd Dillon with his back against the wall. They'll give it to Fowler. Gets a couple up to the 5-yard line. We've talked a lot about the Birmingham linebackers, Mike. We haven't talked about their up front people too much tonight.
Front 4, Purifoy with all that NFL experience. Smith, the fine rookie out of Auburn.
Jackie Klein and Mike Perko, guys up front, but it's the linebackers that get the notice on the Stallions team. And Todd Dillon has had to contend with them tonight because he has seen them in the backfield much more than he's seen the defensive line. 2nd and 7. Sam Harrell dancing around, and I think in their scheme of things, Mike, that's the wrong thing to do if you're a running back. I think you just got to make a decision and go with it, because one, the offensive linemen are not used to really firing out and making that offensive block.
Their run blocks are pass blocks by deception.
Right.
And if you jitter around, you're going to get stopped. Somebody catch from the backside, slide off one of those pass blocks and make the stop. And again, Houston not used to 4 or 5 running plays in a row trying to get out of it.
2 running plays in a row right there, huh?
Not used to it.
3rd and 7, so 2 running plays, and they get 3 yards. Quickly to McNeil. He got the first down up to the 15-yard line. I'll tell you, you can't blink when he catches the ball because he gets there in a hurry.
One of the things about the run and shoot, 2nd and 12 is the same thing as 2nd and 1. They get to you quick.
Maybe the tiniest of the receivers.
At least lightest.
McNeil. Yeah. Johnson's not very tall, but very stocky, well built. McNeil very slight.
And about 4'3", and he's gone.
And they list him at 142. That means he's probably about 130, 135.
We all had a 10.
1st and 10 from the 15. Fumble. But Harrell is right there to get on top of it.
That Doug Smith that reached in and batted it right out of his hands on the handoff. Take a look. Harrell gets the handoff. Watch. Somebody swatted it. Doug Smith swatted it right out of his hands. Harrell sharp enough to get it back, though.
Rookie from Auburn. Another one of those rookies that playing a key role.
Wait till he learns all the techniques, huh?
Paulette Carruth. 2nd and 9 from the 16. Over 6 minutes to go. 3rd quarter. Dillon, penalty marker down. Dillon caught from behind at the 23-yard line. And a penalty marker is down on the play as Ken Kelly chased him down from behind. And
Holding 46 on the offense.
Todd Fowler.
Second down over again, and again long yardage for the run and shoot offense. Essentially the same when it's 6 or 12 or whatever. Fowler 46 gets his shoulder in, knows he's beaten, so he sticks a hand up in his
It was a double
jersey.
team with Robinson right there, and that's just not a very smart play by Todd Fowler. You're supposed to know when you're double teaming someone, so that if you can't contain it, then you got your backup guy, right?
Let the other guy mop up for you instead of holding.
2nd and 17. The ball is pushed back to the 8-yard line. Clock running down with 5:38 to go, third quarter. Johnson in motion. Dillon going deep. I want to tell you, he had Sanders open on the near side. It looked like the pass was in the area of McGee, but no way he was going to get close to it.
I think that shocked Dillon. He had two of them running free and didn't know what to do with it or where to put it.
That was just your basic streak.
And these guys run your basic streak with a lot of speed.
Well, Todd is
Not happy.
upset at himself, or he's yelling at his wide receivers. Third down and 17. Now they went to McNeil last time on third down.
Got to get it to a speed guy here. If you don't get the distance, maybe they can run it far enough for the first down.
McNeil. Boy, pass is broken up. Beautiful job back there by 24 Chuck Clanton, who leads the USFL in interceptions. Third down, they went to McNeil.
Here's a perfect look. See the two deep safeties, Clanton and Dumars. They're playing man-to-man underneath with 4 on 4. And Clanton, you know why he's got 14 interceptions. He's got a nose for the ball, and he's right there to bust it up.
Well thrown pass.
Another look, Clanton. He knows. He knows they're going for the speed man because they've got a long way to go for the first down. Smart safety.
Corral standing just a couple of yards from the back line of the end zone on 4th and 17. McFadden at the 40-yard line. Better punt this time. That'll send McFadden back to the 48-yard line. He's in real trouble. Beautiful job by the special teams of the Houston Gamblers. And once again, Sandy LeBeau is there, but also Ricky Young, number 4. Defending USFL champ Baltimore Stars slowly but surely creeping their way up into playoff contention. And the Birmingham Stallions coming up next Saturday. Thad McFadden had to be helped off the field for the Birmingham Stallions. And with 4:54 left to go third quarter, after the 44-yard punt by Corral, Stout will send it deep to Joey Jones. He couldn't catch up with that one, and that reminds you of a week ago on Monday night.
What a catch last week. Fan shot at the beginning of the show on our open.
One of the very best catches you'll see. They say that Joey Jones has been electronically timed at 4.3. So he is the speed man. Caruth. Across the 45 to the 46-yard line. Durwood Rockmore, one of the men there. Also Luther Bradley. Trying to think. Caruth has a running style that reminds me of
Paul Hornung.
Well, you mentioned that last week.
A cutback runner. Buddy Idle at 78. Look at that. I mean, he just buried him into the ground. One less tackler for Caruth to have to miss.
Birmingham 6 of 11 on third down situations. They're faced with a 3rd and 8 here. Stout, Toller. Who else on third down at the 41-yard line? Mitchell makes the tackle. You think they might start doubling him on third down? I mean, is that...
You can't really do it because he hasn't got the speed to hurt you, and it can't take the double coverage off Jones. He's the one who beats you deep and hurts you on third down. Toller, I mean, you can't get much better coverage by Mitchell. He's just going to catch the football for you in the tough situations. That's what they pay him for.
7 out of 12 now in third down situations for Birmingham, and they have a 1st and 10 at the 40-yard line. 3:23 left to go, third quarter. Houston leads 21-20. 3 wide receivers for the Stallions. They give it to Gant right up the middle, and he gets the 35-yard. 2nd and 5 from the 35. Stout under pressure. It's going to be incomplete.
Threw it away.
Stout was brought down by Pete Caton. No touchdowns, no interceptions tonight for Cliff Stout.
Got a few weapons he's missing, but doing a good job with what he has. He's made Toller work when he's supposed to. He's had used Jones. He's used Carruth.
3rd and 5 at the 35-yard line. 2:29 to go. Is it Toller again? Maybe they'll cross him up this time. Send it Toller deep. It hits Jones underneath.
Good change.
And it's a 1st down. And you know what? Toller was open deep too.
You know Stout wasn't going to look for him though. That's a smart changeup. I like that move.
Will Lewis makes the tackle.
Here comes Toller. Watch. He's going to get deep.
Uh-oh.
Oh, Mitchell grabs. See, now Mitchell didn't think he was going to run the deep route
That's
either.
right.
But you know Stout's not going to look for him. 9 times out of 10, Toller's never going to beat anybody deep.
Good play selection by the Birmingham Stallions, and they have it 1st and 10 at the 28-yard line. Less than 2 minutes to go, third quarter. Coles, hard runner inside the 25, down to the 23-yard line. The right side of the Birmingham Stallions offensive line doing the job, and that's Pat Saindon 74, Pat Phoenix 71. And so far tonight, the matchup of Phoenix and Browner has been a nolo contendere.
You haven't seen him all night, have you? Except once to show you that he was getting whipped. That being Ross Browner.
2nd and 5. Good possession drive by the Birmingham Stallions. Gant, big hole, penalty marker down, as Gant is close to 1st down territory, but a penalty marker is down.
Holding 74 on the offense.
Well, just as we sing the praises of the offensive line, Pat Saindon, who, as you notice those arms, he is a strong guy. At Vanderbilt, they had a contest to see who was the strongest man on campus, and this guy, hands down.
Nope, nobody showed up to challenge him, is what you're saying. You can see that nice fitted jersey that all the offensive linemen wear now. Shows off the arms.
Sure does. It's tailor-made. They pleat it on the sides, bring it in real tight, so
that defensive linemen can't get a hold of you and throw you out of the way.
They can't slap you upside the head anymore. Being an offensive lineman, it's like a day at the beach nowadays.
That's right. Extend your arms. Hold if you're not at the point of attack.
2nd and 15 at the 33-yard line. Less than a minute to go. Stout has to move it up. Ooh, Diayala hits him at the 30. That play broke down in a hurry. Stout takes a very deep drop, sometimes 10 to 11 yards.
When you have control receivers like he does, Joey Jones the only one with speed, you want to take that deep drop. Also, when you've got a back like Joe Cribbs, you want to give him a chance to run at the linebacker and then make his break, etc. And if you get the deep drops, that'll help you give your receivers time.
As you watch Cliff Stout walk off the field, he hasn't put on weight. That is the flak jacket that is protecting his ribs. And we've completed 3 quarters of play at the Astrodome in Houston, Texas. The Gamblers leading the Stallions 21-20, and we'll be back with the final 15 for you. Gamblers with a 1-point lead, 21-20, 3rd down and 12 on this sustained drive for the Birmingham Stallions. 3 wide receivers. Stout going deep for McFadden. Penalty marker, he was held. It was an interception, but it won't count. because McFadden was held. That interception will not stand.
Rookie, number 80, Thad McFadden, said, hey, let go of my shirt.
Holding, number 21 on the defense. First down.
Adrian Simpson, who has just checked in, the 5th defensive back, was beat. And here's a graphic display.
Bottom of your screen, 21, Adrian Simpson against number 80, Thad McFadden. He knows he's beat right there, Roger. And what they teach you is, if you're beat deep for a touchdown, take the 15-yard penalty and knock the 6 points. Look at that, he's going to rip his jersey right off it.
Oh,
It's the right play
guilty.
after you've been beat. Should have covered him first.
1st and 10. For Birmingham, 9 of 14 on 3rd down situations. Coles right up the middle. He's hauled down at the 22-yard line. Diayala was one of the players in there. Houston's really going for the football, really trying to strip it away.
Yes, they are. And we got quite a battle going on at center. Battaglia, 59, right after Diallo, and they've been after it all night. Again, he does a good job of getting penetration, but then Diallo gets off of him
It's
and
just
makes
an
a tackle.
awfully hard block to make.
Oh, yes,
Just
and
an
he's
awfully hard.
Well, he's doing the right thing. He's
Yeah.
getting 4 or 5 yards because he's getting out and getting into him, making him shed it.
2nd and 7 from the 22. Paul Ott-Caruth took a hard hit, but he gets down to the 16-yard line. And there was some ferocious hitting taking place. Idolet was the man out in front. And once again, he stayed with him, but he cut it up a little early.
Again, he'll learn to stay on the right hip of 78 if he wants to get more yardage. Another thing, too, Caruth knows that he hasn't got the great speed. He's not going to be able to run away from people, so he takes the blow. Most backs would have gone down
Andy
right
Hawkins.
there. Andy Hawkins drilled him. Most backs would have gone down. Caruth got an extra 3 yards.
3rd down and 1 at the 16-yard line. We're just underway, 4th quarter action. Houston leading 21-20. Caruth turns it up. Caruth inside the 10, down to the 8. Mike, Birmingham shows you that same offensive set, the same offensive movement from their guards, even on short yardage.
It's the Pittsburgh Steeler offense, and the theory is this. Hey, we can tell you where we're coming. We're just going to be technically better at blocking it, and we'll run it at you and run it at you, and we're better than you are. We'll get yards, and you won't be able to stop it, and they're proving it right here.
Caruth and Coles with both better than 50 yards rushing tonight. And I got to feel that Raleigh Dotch is very happy about that. With Joe Cribbs out.
Cribbs sitting back in Birmingham.
1st and goal from the 8-yard line. This drive is now in its 10th minute. Caruth can't get it, and it's Kiki Diayala. That Houston defense has been on the field a long time.
That's a problem. They've had a lot of injuries. You talked about Fitzpatrick. Talked about some injuries in the secondary.
Offensive line.
And there's nobody on the Houston defense to go and say, hey, come in and give this guy a blow. They've got to be out there and play.
2nd and goal from the 7. Double tight end as Robin Earl checks into the game.
With no Jim Smith, you go to double tight end.
Caruth inside the 5, down to the 3-yard line, chipping away and chipping away.
Moving the clock.
Oh, this has been an impressive drive. And Gant will come in now, and Coles comes out on 3rd and goal from the 3.
Raleigh Dodge has figured out that his offensive line is more fresh than the defensive line of Houston, so he's taking advantage of it.
This will be the 14th play of this drive. 11:35 left to go in the football game. 3rd and goal from the 3.
Gant's the fresh back.
Play action, Stout. Reaches for it.
Stepped out of
Andy
bounds.
Hawkins showing you some outstanding speed. Stout reached for the goal line. They say he stepped out at the 3-yard line.
Was Stout out of bounds? Stout says he wasn't. If he wasn't, it's a touchdown. Oh, he's out of bounds. That's it. Give him some heat, Cliff, but you were wrong.
So, 14 plays. This will be the 15th. And they will send Miller on, who has field goals of 48 and 43. This will be a chip shot.
But the right decision, Roger. You want points after a gorgeous drive like this. You don't make it on 4th down, and you turn the momentum back to Houston. So you take the field goal.
20 yards out of the hold of Bobby Lane. And it's good. And the Birmingham Stallions have moved out to a 23-21 lead over the Houston Gamblers. Roger Twyville, Mike Hafner back with you at the Astrodome in Houston, Texas. That man is going to kick off to Clarence Verdun. We speak of Dan Miller, 3 field goals, and he's got his team a 23-21 lead with 11-18 left to go in this game. Sean Potts runs into his own man, and he is dropped down at the 15-yard line. Thomas Boyd on the tackle. Seemed like
an hour and a half.
Didn't it? Gosh.
Hey, a 6-minute drive is outstanding in pro football.
Now we see what Todd Dillon is made of, trailing 23-21. Johnson, the intended receiver, it just passed his outstretched hands.
That long drive, Roger, changed the momentum.
Yes.
It's now in favor of Birmingham. You can't sit and piddle around now. Dillon's got to attack.
Richard Johnson limped off the field, now is over on the sideline being attended to by the trainers of the Houston Gamblers.
He dives for it, and again, this is probably the hardest artificial surface in all of football.
Got a knee.
Yeah, bounced it right on it.
Clanton might have caught him coming across. 2nd and 10 from the 18. Verdun's in motion. Dillon, that's it. In the grasp, and it's Herb Spencer with his 2nd sack of the night. Once again, the linebackers. And Mike, why is it? Why on this team the linebackers get more sacks than the people up front?
Playing 4 down linemen, so you've got an offensive lineman over a defensive lineman. And they're not going to get away from them, except maybe 1 out of 5 plays. So in order to get an effective rush on the quarterback, you pressure 4, and you send 2 linebackers and nobody to block them. And that's the way you get to the quarterback.
3rd down and 16 from the 12-yard line. Crucial here to try to keep this drive going, because that Gambler defense was on the field for almost 9 minutes. Intercepted. That's Rowe. And he'll do a smart thing and slide down at the 20-yard line. And a big defensive play by the man who is the leading tackler, the leading sack man, and comes up with his first interception of the year.
The inspirational leader of that defense.
Excuse me, his 3rd interception.
Bill Rowe, that's his 4th now.
4th now?
Yep. Todd Dillon, again, he felt just like we did. The momentum had slipped away. He's trying to make the great play by himself. I'm certain the pressure was there, and he tried to make a big play, and that's when you throw the interception.
Now does Birmingham strike back in a hurry? 1st and 10 from the 19. I'll give it to Coles. The left side, he gets down around the 15-yard line.
I mean, it's a cinch 3 points, or it should be, Roger, so you don't have to go for the big strike here. What you want to do is make sure you come away from this turnover with points. You want to get more than a field goal ahead, so another field goal will do that for you. And if you get a touchdown, it's just gravy.
Kelly trying to cheer on his team. Jerry Argovitz, the managing general partner, standing next to him. 2nd and 7. 9:19 left to go in this game. Birmingham leads 23-21. Paul Ott-Caruth. Caruth is stuck at the 12-yard line. It was Mike Hawkins this time, and the Hawkins brothers have been the backbone, along with Diayala, of this defense for the Houston Gamblers.
There's a lot of hitting going on. The problem is, to make those great hits, are giving up 4 yards a rush. And if you do that, to be in the end zone pretty soon, all those pretty tackles don't help you. Caruth, again, the cutback runner, and he takes the blow. Mike Hawkins stood him up, didn't he?
He runs a bit upright.
When you haven't got any speed, why bend over? Huh?
3rd down and 2. Stout all day. Finally, he's going to run it. Inside the 5 to the 4, and that's a first down. They tried a little end-around fake to Joey Jones, looking for the pass to Coles. Wasn't there, and Stout just had all day.
It's an interesting call. A little bit of a change-up by Cliff Stout. You've been dominating them in the offensive line. Now you run the play-action pass. But it worked. You know what happens? You've been body punching those defensive linemen on the pass rush, and they're getting tired. And they're standing around watching Cliff gain first down yardage.
First and goal from the 3-yard line. 8:23 left to go in the game. There's the rushing yards.
Well, that defense got to be tired for the Gamblers.
Carruth and Coles, the running backs. Hall on Carruth, stacked up.
They keep them out of the end zone here. They could turn the momentum, but it's going to be tough.
Coles doesn't get it. Good job by that defense. Good job by the black shirts. Bradley, from his safety spot, busted through there underneath. Andy Hawkins was also there.
Roger, the black shirts know that the game could turn on this one drive. And they came up, reached down for the extra 10%, said, hey, we got to stop them.
Hosea Taylor underneath also. Third down now, goal to go, 3-yard line, so they lost a yard on that play. The clock continues to wind. A field goal for Birmingham only gives them a 6-point lead.
That's right. And so the momentum will change back.
So it's got to be 4-down territory.
Absolutely. You don't make it here, you go for it on 4th down.
Stout. Broken up. Beautiful job. Rockmore was one of the men there. Bradley was the other man.
Raleigh Dott's going to kick the field goal. I'm a little surprised.
I am too. He's had the momentum.
Well, if you look at it, though, if he doesn't take the field goal and he goes for it and doesn't score, then all they have to do is kick a field goal to beat him.
As we look at this one more time, I'll just add to that, though, that Dillon has not done a good job with his back against the wall, and they're at the 3-yard line.
Leave him 99. There's a great play by Luther Bradley. The rookie McFadden.
Miller going for his 4th, make it a 20-yarder again. Penalty flag is down.
They can't make a first down, though, Roger, so the penalty won't help them.
Unless they decide to go for it. It's going to be against Houston. Oh, that's unbelievable.
Cliff Stout wants timeout so they can talk about it. Well, it was 4th down and 3. Now it's 4th down and 1.5 yards. If you don't make it, a field goal can beat you.
Unnecessary roughness. Number 93 on the defense. First down.
Automatic
Hosea
first
Taylor.
down. Oh.
Unnecessary roughness. Automatic first down.
That's a killer.
Jim Eddy, defensive coordinator, next to Jack Pardee.
They don't score on this play because the wind was just taken out of the sails of that Houston defense.
Boy, Andy Hawkins is having a few words with the officials.
Oh, that's a tough call. Just a tough call.
6:48 left to go. First and goal from the 2-yard line. Carruth and Coles, the running backs. Gant and slot to the far side. Carruth. They stop him.
Right over Buddy Idolette.
This has been an impressive performance, not only by the offense of Birmingham on their last drive, but this defense by Houston. They have been very tough. They have been on the football field a long time. But then again, the Birmingham offense has been out there a long time too, right? I mean, we tend to forget that. We'll say how long the defense has been out there. Offensive players get just as tired.
That's absolutely right. Those guys are taking a pounding just like the defense.
Second and goal from the 1.
This is where two-a-days pay off, huh, Roger?
Stout sneaks it. Boy, they just don't signal it. There they go. They finally do. Touchdown, Birmingham.
Stout wants to know what took so long. Look at him down there.
Well, he's 6'4",
All he's got to do is fall down and he's in the end zone, right?
So Cliff Stout with his 5th rushing touchdown, and he's got a smile on his face. Battaglia, the center.
Stout knows that defense is tired, and he's a good athlete. He was in by 1.5 miles.
The guys on the sides, they just can't get their hands up. You know,
here's a crucial extra point by Miller. They got an 8-point lead right now.
29-21.
Of course, the 2-point conversion is in effect in the USFL, so Miller wants to make it 9.
Oh, goodness. Penalty marker down. He missed it. He hooked it. There is a penalty marker down. And I'll tell you, Kiki Diala just threw his helmet down. There are some frustrated Houston Gambler defensive players.
Illegal formation on the offense.
Okay,
Decline.
it's against Birmingham. And Mike, you called it. It's an 8-point difference as Miller, who has been the man tonight. And with the 2-point conversion, a touchdown and 2, and we're all tied up. 5:51 left to go.
Boy, that gives him a second life.
Houston, unsportsmanlike conduct on Kiki Diala. It was stepped off and consequently kicking off from the 50 and out of the end zone, and Houston will have it 1st and 10 from the 20 with 5:46 left to go. 13,202 in attendance here at the Astrodome. Dylan Johnson knocked out of bounds at the 27-yard line. We say once again 13,202. Last week 12,696, the lowest in the 2-year history of the franchise, simply because I think a lot of people feel this team is not going to be here next year.
That doesn't help when you're trying to sell tickets.
Been a lot of rumors. Hawaii, Chicago. Sure, if you ask the players and if they had a decision to make, it would be West.
Oh yes, over there where it's 72 degrees every day of the week.
2nd and 3 from the 27. 5:41 left to go. Verdun in motion. Gamblers have not scored in the second half. Harrell still on his feet across midfield down to the 45-yard line. That is his longest run of the year. Sam Harrell.
We talked to Jack Pardee. He said without Jim Kelly, we're going to have to get the running game going. We talked about the spin move with Paul Caruth. There you get it from Sam Harrell. Shakes 2 tackles. Another move inside. And I've got a feeling after that broken leg from last year, he never quite come back.
28 yards on the pickup. As I mentioned, his longest of the year. Sanders in motion. Deflected at the line of scrimmage. Deflected at the line of scrimmage. I got to feel maybe Doug Smith, 97, got a hand on it.
97, Doug Smith, the rookie out of Auburn.
Anywhere from 275 to 315 in weight.
Whichever way. Watch for 97, stick up the big paw, boom, he got it. One thing you can't read is how quick that defensive lineman's going to get his hand up.
Todd Dillon, 6 feet tall.
Doug Smith, 6'6". You're going to throw it over, and
short,
you better throw it over.
And short receivers. And this is one thing Jack Pardee was concerned about.
Said he worked on it all week.
Dillon. Verdun, the foot race. Still on his feet. Verdun inside the 20, down to the 18-yard line. 22, David Dumars had a shot at him at the 35, couldn't get him. And Clarence Verdun. ...24 yards on the catch and run.
The one thing you can't coach, Roger, is speed. You either got it or you don't. And if you've got it, you use it to your advantage. And that was what it was. Just flat speed. Outran everybody.
They mark it out at the 22-yard line. 1st and 10, 4:44 left to go. Sanders in motion. Dillon to Johnson. Right on his hands. Right on his hands. It's all attitude. You know, I mean, Dillon says, hey, I know the guy's a good receiver. it's important you go right back to him.
Only the leader in the USFL last year.
And not bad this year with over 1,000 yards.
Absolutely.
1st and 10. Penalty marker down.
That's a good point, Roger. If Johnson is going to burn you twice,
False start, number 65 on the offense.
then it's not your night anyway.
Well,
He's one of the best.
Dan Rosado, in between Rosado and Robinson, they've had some penalties called on him tonight. That makes it 1st and goal from the 15, but what it does do, it gives the run and shoot a little bit more room to operate in.
If you're going to open up the middle, that crossing pattern that's been so successful, you've got to be able to get somebody deep so that you can open it up between the backs and the linebacker.
Mike, they've been successful underneath. 4:32 left to go in the game. McNeil can't quite get it.
There's that fade route, timing, and again, Dillon hasn't been in there to throw it in game action. And it's a matter of timing when you're throwing it over the outside shoulder. McNeil, with all of his speed, he's the motion man. He gets outside, and they call it a fade route. The reason is the receiver fades into the ball. Now watch at the end here. Just faded him a little bit out of bounds is the problem.
Dillon, 13 of 27, 215 yards, so he's thrown more passes now than he ever has in his pro career, for more yards than he ever has in his pro career. 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. His team trails 29-21 with 4:28 to go, and it's 2nd down and goal from the 15. Looking for Verdun. The ball was a bit high. Dumars was the defender, and Verdun is in the end zone in pain. Dillon's got to get away. He does. Now he stops. Incomplete. Sanders was the intended receiver. Sanders was the intended receiver. It goes incomplete, and we said 4 down. No, it's not going to be 4 down territory because Fritsch will come on to attempt the field goal with 4:14 to go. I think that's a smart call. I probably got carried away in the excitement.
They still got all 3 timeouts.
And Tony, who's missed only 2 this year, is like money in the bank.
Cuts the lead to 5.
The veteran Tommy Myers comes on.
Takes away the fact that you have to make a 2-point extra point.
32-yard field goal attempt for Tony Fritsch.
Got to plant it in the dirt.
Hit the bar and came back.
Had to plant the foot on the pitcher's mound, and I think it slipped a little bit, and it gave him makes him hook it then.
Hit the upright. And with that, the fans start to depart the Astrodome.
Watch the reaction. Tony knows he hit the post.
The crossbar leaning to that side. Might be a little off-centered. His 3rd miss of the year. The 2 other times he missed, Houston has lost. His 3rd miss. They trail 29-21 with 4:05. Maybe it'll be their 3rd loss.
A little bit of an omen when he misses a crucial field goal.
3:58 left to go. 1st and 10 for Birmingham, and you know they're going to run this football, run off some time here. Carruth stacked up by. They're going to throw it. Stout going deep, tight end Mason, and Mitchell was right there. 7 to go. Penalty marker down. Houston jumped offside. Boy, some crucial penalties for the Houston Gamblers.
3rd and 2. Carruth isn't the kind of breakaway back. You go to the big fullback, or do you throw it upstairs?
Double tight ends. Jones the only wide receiver. Paulot, Carruth, got it. 1st down.
Big play.
Well, you want to talk about star of the game. His 1st professional start. He's done a fine job.
Again, 78, Idolette.
There's another
block.
star of the game.
Yeah, lead block by Gant.
Oh, he got Bradley right out of there, didn't he?
Yep. Bradley's got no chance, and Caruth got that feel. He's learning to stay on that hip, makes the break, gets the first down.
Timeout called by Houston with 2:24 and a good one. 10 from the 34. Caruth up the gut. Look at him drive ahead. Paul Caruth up to the 39-yard line. And another timeout taken by the Houston Gamblers. 2nd and 5 from the 39. They have 9 men up on the line of scrimmage. Caruth across the 40 to the 41. And Houston will use their last timeout. 3rd down and 2. This will be it for Houston at the 42-yard line. Caruth very, very close. Good snap. Parsons end over end going for the near side, and he does. Oh, Kelly, he's over directing traffic on the sideline. You know what? He said, I'm a football player. If I could come back next week, I would. You know he would.
Darn right he would.
Sanders to the near side. 1st and 10 from the 35. Dillon got McGee again. 1st down, 25 left. Dillon. Sanders, great catch by Sanders. And he's out of bounds at the 21-yard line. Beautiful adjustment by Ricky Sanders. They're bringing linebackers. Dillon rolling out. He's running with it. Can he get out of bounds? He does. Right at the line of scrimmage at the 20-yard line. Dillon Johnson out of bounds at the 8. And Houston's in business. Johnson over 100 yards in receptions tonight. Dillon. He's got room. Dillon. Touchdown Houston.
That's the football game right here. You'll remember the Gamblers have no timeouts.
Harrell! He loses the football. He loses the football. He had it.
Conversion
is no good.
I'd throw the red flag, though, because it's the whole game. Harrell has the football. Spencer, the main man. Oh, no. Absolutely no way. Perfect call. Spencer made the great play.
Dave Purifoy was the man who was untouched. Robin Earl, the big tight end, grabs it. He's got good hands.
And he just won the football game for his
Yes.
team. You know when it pays to be short? When your name's Lafitte Pinkai Jr. and you get 10% of the purse.
Raleigh Dotch, Jerry Sklar, the president of the Stallions. Rowe, who had the big game defensively. And the Birmingham Stallions have defeated the Houston Gamblers. And Birmingham clinches a playoff spot, becoming the 2nd team to do that. 29-27. Birmingham defeats Houston from the Astrodome in Houston, Texas. And we'll be back to wrap it up in just a moment. Birmingham defeats Houston 29-27. USFL action continues next week on ESPN with 3 live telecasts. Live Friday, June 7th at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific time. Orlando and Memphis. On Saturday, June 8th, ESPN has a special afternoon edition of USFL when Birmingham entertains Baltimore at 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific time. And next Monday, June 10th at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, New Jersey hosts Jacksonville as Herschel Walker attempts to become the 3rd running back in pro history to top 2,000 yards rushing in a season. For Mike Hafner, I'm Roger Twibell. Thanks for being with us. Birmingham beats Houston 29-27.